Guys, we're here with Andrew Scheim. We're going to talk to you a little bit about connective tissue, what it is and how it works throughout your body. It's a really intricate part of all this body work that he does. And let's let him explain a little bit so you guys are familiar, and then we'll kind of go into some deeper videos next.
Thank you, Chris. Well, first of all, I have a very personal interest in connective tissue because I'm 61 years old and I love tennis. So, as Chris can, I guess, testify to,
He's a badass tennis player. He beat me pretty bad.
and people are, I mean, honestly, at 61 years old, just to be on the court, people my age always talk about the blessing of being on the court. And I see a lot of my peers going down with injuries. And as much as I try to explain to them what connective tissue is, they just don't get it. So we're going to try to explain this in this video. But let me tell you, people, if you're suffering with joint injuries, you're suffering with fibromyalgia, arthritis, you really should study what connective tissue is. And let's look at the word connective. It's tissue that literally surrounds everything in your body. It's continuous and it runs from top to bottom, in and out. It surrounds your organs, your nerves, your muscles, your bones, everything. Connective tissue is the sign of whether you're young or old. So if you look at a yogi master, a lot of the yogic practitioners are doing all this stretching, continually stretch. They're working on connective tissue. Now, fortunately, we live in a modern world. We have a lot more advanced technologies, which I've learned to how to enhance the health of connective tissue. We're going to throw up some pictures in this video. But basically, let's give one simple example. Let's take a very personal example for me. The side of my leg, it's called the IT band. It's a big muscle that runs from the knee to the hip. If the connective tissue in that area starts to tighten down and becomes brittle, literally the distance between the knee and the hip will shorten. That will cause, in language in my work, it'll cause rotation. In other words, the hip will start to turn in, because if you had a bridge, imagine a suspension bridge, and you had a cables running on the bridge, and all of a sudden you twisted and shortened the cable, the bridge would go topple over. So anytime tissue tightens and constricts, something has to give. And usually it's the knee, the hip, the ankle, whatever lies between. So if you have tight connective tissue here in this area, that means this can rotate in, you feel tight, the clavicle, literally the connective tissue around a bone causes the bone to tighten.
I've had a lot of that myself, with this right here on the clavicle being really tight, which then affects my shoulder and the back, right. And it's pretty crazy how it all really works together.
Now, if you're an athlete, and Chris was an ex-wrestler, but athletes know their body pretty well. Unfortunately, they should all probably take 6-month courses in true body work. But to really,
which I did.
Because I tell you, if you really know your body as an athlete, and this is a big warning, to all your athletes out there, it can be tremendous because you'll seek out the right therapy. Now, it is much more complicated because everything works together. So I do have on my practitioner site a blog that shows the relationship between the subconscious mind, the acupuncture meridians, and connective tissue. So if you go onto my andrewscheim.com site, you can find the blogs, and
I'll post a link in the description so that you guys can check it out.
Now this is pretty deep, but if you really pay attention, it's critical. So the question is, what causes connective tissue to become unhealthy? What causes connective tissue to tighten down, to go into a grabbing mode, to become brittle, to become dry? And we're going to talk about that more in terms of our approach to remedying the connective tissue problem in some additional videos. But please understand, connective tissue health is critical. Now, our water product, the Blue Z water, is one of the most profound, just to touch upon that briefly, is one of the best ways to start to address connective tissue health, because it does several things. It cleans every cell in the connective tissue. It's going to start to detoxify that cell, feed that cell incredible minerals in the product, and it's also super hydrating, because it's called structured water, and this is all on the Blue Z Water site. You can read about it. It's worth studying. But when you get those three things going on at a cellular level, the whole system, all the connective tissue itself, actually starts to rejuvenate. And we're going to talk about how that works with other existing protocols and how if you synergize these protocols, you can get incredible results. In the meantime, we're also going to be talking about in some other videos some bodywork practices that I do that can incredibly enhance the health of connective tissue. So if you want to be out of that pain, if you're tired of the aches and the pains, if you're tired of your joints being out of whack, if you're feeling tight all the time, beyond just doing stretching, please study more deeply these various dimensions of connective tissue, and you can really help yourself.
There you go. So connective tissue is everywhere, and hopefully you guys can research this, really get into knowing it. Blue Z water and these supplements I'm sure you've been looking at here, they all can help with that. We'll explain a little bit more in our other videos. We just want to give you an in-depth view of what it is and how it relates to everything you could be doing with your body and how you feel certain ways with it. So check out our other videos, and we'll see you guys soon with a little more on connective tissue. Bye.